Now we are looking at closed shapes. Closed shapes. These are the letters we have for closed shapes. F, I, L, M, W, Y. Now, we need to be careful with these ones. M, I wrote, M. We need to be careful with these ones because they are closed. And so sometimes in writing, they can be confused. I have seen cases of students, let's start from the first one, of students telling me that this is your small letter F. If you look at this one that may be considered a small letter F by such a student, you'll see that it's so close to the capital letter. The difference is that the crossing here is able to cross that line just as small letter F will do. But if you look at the shaping, you have a number of three areas, aspects of differences in this letter F. One, the angling is usually sharp for capital letter, while the small one is smooth. It's not sharp at that point. It curves. But the capital letter, you don't have you have an angle to it. Now, again, the second one is a crossing of the line, running straight. The capital one doesn't, usually. It starts from the point of the line and move rightward. But for the small letter, it has to cross it. And then the third aspect of the differences they have is that the small letter F, usually, if you have your notebook this way, while the capital letter will stay on top, your small letter is expected to cross the line to ensure that, yes, what you have written is a small letter F. The capital one still within the line. Then we'll move on to letter I. Letter I is one straight line for the capital letter. And the small one is the dot. So you have here for the two letters, you have about two aspects of differences. Size is one of it. The capital letter usually is bigger than the small letter. The line that runs is bigger than the small letter. So your small letter is expected not to be as long as the capital letter. That is one aspect. And then the next one is that there should be a dot, which is very important. If there is no dot on the letter I, it's difficult to assume that it is a small letter. And again, if we check your small letter and it's not dotted, we look at your capital letter and they seem to be of the same size, then of course you have committed a blunder of capitalization. We'll take that as an error. So you need to take note of those two aspects for the capital, for letter I. Then we'll talk of letter L. This has measured two aspects as well. One is the size. Usually the capital letter is supposed to be bigger than the small letter in size. And then the next one is that the angle here, at the point of this, you have a joint for the capital letter L, and it's sharp just like the F we mentioned earlier. But the small letter has a smooth curve that is going round, or a curve rather. So it's not as sharp as the capital letter L. And you need to take note of these two. Although sometimes too, capital, particularly in printed form, small letter L can just take a straight line. You need to note that. Small letter L can take a straight line, while the capital letter takes this shape. That is for printed form. Usually in handwritten form, there is need to use these two shapes. But if you are using this one, then you must also be very careful to show that you are using it. We'll look at letter M. Letter M, you also have two major aspects. One is the size. The capital letter M usually is bigger than the small letter n. That should be the norm. The norm is that it's bigger than the small letter n, which is this. Then you watch carefully. The small letter m has at the top smoothness that the capital letter M doesn't. The capital letter M has sharp point at the joint. The small letter M doesn't have such sharpness in it. So if you are writing your capital letter M and you write it, for example, you make it big like this. Sometimes if it's not that bigger than your small letter M, it creates confusion. It becomes difficult for us to know which is big, which is the capital letter, and which is the small letter. So you need to differentiate the capital letter M from the small letter m by this sharpness that you have at these two ends of your letter M. That way, you will be able to know without doubt that you're writing a capital letter M and not a small letter M. Then we'll take the capital letter W. Capital letter W follows almost the same pattern with the capital letter M. If you take our notebook line, we have capital letter W this way. So just like the capital letter M that is inverted, although we may actually differentiate by slanting our lines as well. We can differentiate by that, but the way I wrote it here, I didn't show that. But if you add that aspect, it makes it easier. Then if you slant it like that, but then again, if you come down, you are going to see sharpness here. Sharpness here. And then for the W, you don't have such sharpness. It's smooth as the small letter N at those points. So this is the way you show it. And of course, size is there. So if you write them again too close, you write your capital letter like this and you write your small one like this, sometimes it becomes difficult for us to differentiate them, whether you're writing a capital letter or you are writing a small letter. Then we'll look at letter Y. Letter Y usually is written like this. But in the handwritten form, in fact, when I'm writing fast, I usually don't have the time to cross this way. I just make it big and take it down. And most people do that too. I don't think it's wrong to do this if you're writing your capital letter Y. In printed form, it may look this way, it may look like this, but in handwritten form, it may be this way, and it is acceptable. Now, but you need to be careful when you write your letter Y. One is the size. The size of the small letter Y is actually smaller than the capital letter Y. That is one aspect. So let's write that now. Then another aspect is that the capital letter Y doesn't have this curve that you have for small letter y. Capital letter Y simply stop after you write your line slanting leftward from the top to the bottom. So that is the capital letter Y. And then another important thing about the small letter y is that it crosses the line usually. If it doesn't cross the line, it becomes difficult for us to know whether you are writing a small letter y and you are writing a small letter y, not a capital letter Y. So you need to take note of all of this when you are writing. And we have at least two of those aspects followed. Now we can assume that yes, this child has written it well. If you have all the aspects followed, better for us. But if you don't, but if it's three aspects and you have two, and we look at it, it becomes controversial to say that it's a capital letter or a small letter, then we'll run into a problem. Sometimes we do not give it to you that you have written what you actually ought to have written. So these are for the closed shapes letter.